Welcome to the FM LLaMa, a save where we've loaded Germany and all of the nations that border her down to their lowest divisions. We've played one game since you've been away, and today we've got a massive fixture against our rivals, Tichy. So we managed to beat Warta Poznan 2-0. We made a pretty good start to the game. The new midfielder Zitarski managed to strike one in from about 25 yards. He was starting in place of Drevniak. We rotated the team pretty heavily for this game. So he got his first goal for the club. And then the young, right back who we're retraining as a centre-back, Jakub Stankovic, he came up for a corner and was there at the far post, 6'4", jumping of 18, always a useful weapon from corners. And he scored his first goal on his first start for the club as well. We rotated the team pretty heavily, trying to keep people a little bit fresher after quite a long run of games. The transfer window closed as well. We've brought in one more player. Don't get too excited. His name is Denis Smolarek. He's a striker who's not terrible in the air. He's fairly quick and he can finish, although he's not the most composed. But he's Polish and he's under the age of 21. So did we really need an extra option in the striking positions? Probably not. But he's under 21 and they are worth their weight of gold at this club at the moment. So we've bought most of the big hitters back in. We've got a couple of players who did play in the last game whose condition is below 90%. So that's not really optimal. But we are going into today's game against Tichy with Chrobry in goal. We're going to play Ratishak at left back as we did in the last game when we were rotating. Kuchashik played in the last game. He's going to carry on today, so he's going to have to battle through his low conditioning at the moment. We're going to leave Stankovic in the team. He played pretty well in the last game and scored from that corner. Vengrenak comes back in at right back, Conrado on the left wing. Mandris came in for the last game and got man of the match, so he's going to partner Drevniak today. Banaszewski's back on the right wing, Musa as the target man, and then rather than Wojcik, who has just dipped a little bit in terms of his form, we're going to give Zapolnik a start up front today. We can do that because Stankovic is Polish and under the age of 21. So we don't have to start with Wojcik for this game against Tichy. So let's launch straight into it and see what the boys can do today. We have, we've made a far better start to the season than we had hoped. If we could beat Tichy today, we are going to be a minimum. What should we say here? Let's go, being on a good run, go out there and impress me. We are going to be a minimum of 5 points clear at the top of the table. And I think this is possibly game 8. That's got to go down in anybody's book as a pretty decent start to the season for a club that was very nearly relegated last year and not refreshed massively over the summer. A lot of the players that are going to be out on the pitch today were there at the back end of last season as well. Chrobry in goal, Ratishak, Kuchashik, Drevniak, Mandris, the Moose, Conrado knocking around, Banaszewski over on the right wing, all in last season. So just had a little bit more time to get used to the formation as the Moose goes close to another goal there. A little bit more time to get used to the formation. Couple of useful additions. Jagiello's good, although obviously he's still injured at the moment. Things are looking okay for Chrobry. All about those playoff places. It looking like at this stage of the season could be possible. They love a slide tackle. Well done. Okay, Rat, what are you doing there? You're playing it around in your own box. All right, trust you. Conrado launches it forward. Zapolnik's come in the team today and very nearly repays the faith, though it looks like he was offside. But he broke the defensive line there quite encouragingly. Went through, just made his run a little bit early. Not a bad start. Oh, the Moose. Goodness me. What's that? Goal number 6. Really nice to see Conrado in a more attacking position as well. That injury to Jagiello when it first happened looked like it could really pose a problem for us, but once Conrado is fit, he's an ample deputy over on that left wing, stepping up from left back. And the Moose, goodness me. Hopefully the FM overlords aren't listening, but the Moose really is the player that we probably couldn't do without. Last season we missed him for a couple of games because he was called up. Oh, all right, that's a bit of a sitter, Moose. He was called up to the Czech under-21 squad, but I think he's too old for that squad this season. So hopefully, unless he gets into the Czech national team, which I think is pretty unlikely, could have him with us barring injury for the whole season, which is going to be pretty valuable. Honestly, Drevniak is our best free kick taker. How that is the case, I've not seen him strike a free kick not into the wall of the opposition that I can remember. But I'll tell you what, this is a solid start again. 10 shots, 4 on target. We're putting all the pressure on them. Don't think they've had a highlight yet. But whenever we're 1-0 up, we're always a little bit susceptible. As this little break is illustrating, Zapolnik's doing a little bit of tracking back, then realised, I don't really fancy this. Oh, Schronik with the double save. Goodness me, he's another real valuable player. Another one, if we did decide to perhaps sample another country in another division, might we, if we had a transfer budget, come back and look at Schronik as a goalkeeper? Could that guy play in the German third tier? I think maybe he could. Still, that's to worry about at the end of the season. We're going to see whether we can do something with Chrobry before we even think about moving on. Could we get them into the playoffs? Okay, good bit of possession, good bit of shots on target. Pretty comfortable that first half, so let's give them the complacency. They're a lot more responsive to these team talks than they were, so that's encouraging too. If we did move on from Chrobry during the summer, one thing we'd definitely like to do whilst we've got some money in the bank is look to do a coaching badge. We completed our first coaching badge during the summer in Poland, and we immediately asked to do another one, seeing as all the players were on holiday and it was pre-season, but were told we were simply too important on the training ground right now to even consider it. And that was with $250,000 in the bank, no players on the training ground for us to train. But we're going to try and get another one under our belt before we get to the end of this season. Often, if you're on a good run of form, the board like to accept requests to do coaching badges just to reward you for the good run of form. So if we can keep winning a few games long enough for us to be allowed to do a coaching course, that's going to be useful as we take our next steps. As would maybe getting Chrobry into the playoffs. Looking like we might just be plateauing a little bit in this game. Maybe we want to change things up. Maybe Wojcik up front. Zapolnik's not done a lot on cue. So let's have a look how we can change it then. How has Mandris done? Reasonable. Zapolnik has not played well. Ratashak has not enjoyed being over at left back. Okay, so let's put Ratashak out of his misery. I think Rosmus can get through half an hour. And let's try... Wojcik is the fittest of those three options. So let's bring him on. That form has dipped a little bit since he burst onto the scene, but he's pacey. He could still offer a threat. Here he is now. Okay, he can't offer a threat when he's in wide positions. In fact, he can give Lewicki the chance to counter. Who's tracking him? Is that Kushashik? Oh, and Conrado sliding in. Two-footed as well, only to be encouraged. It's looking like they are starting to toy with us a little bit. I've got to say, that's probably pretty deserved. I wanted to beat Tichy. God, they are my nemesis in every way, shape and form. What have they done here? They've got in behind Conrado, who didn't fancy tracking back. There's Rosmus, the sub, who really didn't want to close down. And Shromnik has waved at it as he's pushed it into his own net. That's pretty disappointing. Right, we've gone attacking. Is there anything else we can do off the bench? Zitarski for Drevniak. Vesierski. Don't really fancy any of these. Drevniak's on a booking. We'll use that as justification for getting Zitarski in. He did score a great goal in the last game from about 25 yards. Draw's not a disaster, but cool, you want to get as many points as you can while the form is good, because you know once you get around the mid-season fixtures, injuries, suspensions, small squad, and plus FM loves to just rip your heart out when you're in the middle of a good patch of form. We know it's coming. We know we're going to tumble down that table. We need to get as many points as we can before the inevitable. I tell you what, we really shouldn't be drawing this game. In fact, we're going to demand more, because the match stats show that we have dominated. Okay, if we lose this game, that's an absolute travesty. This is looking a little bit ominous. Oh, Vengrenak. Right, we know that Shromnik has saved one before. Not that time, not even gone the right way. This is an absolute mugging. This is daylight Chrobry. Let's push the wing-backs on. Oh, with all the subs used, not really a lot more we can do. Now, in a match we've dominated, we're scratching around hoping to find an equaliser. Only Tichy can do this. God, they are not even in good form. They are just below mid-table. Here's the equaliser. Come on. Stankovic. That's the young right-back. We're turning into a centre-back. Another ball into the box. There we go. Ah, the Moose. Ah, he's disallowed. What's that disallowed? Offside? Show me this replay. Where? All right, he's offside. He's offside. Yeah, okay. All right. Oh, I fear we're slipping to our first defeat of the season. 22 shots to 9. Daylight Chrobry. This is it, isn't it? We have given up our unbeaten start to the season. Who else would we give it up to but Tichy? Got to remember, this is not a rivalry that anybody knows about apart from us. Yet why is it that every chapter of our Chrobry career is fragrance with Tichy getting one over on us? Whenever you want to sign a player on a free transfer, he'll choose Tichy. You get invited to an interview, Tichy slam the door in your face. You play them, they beat you. You play them, you outplay them. They still beat you. Before we leave Poland, we have to stick a victory over Tichy. What shall we say? Don't think that was bad enough to be aggressive, but that simply was not good enough. And that is the end of our episode. So let's check in on the table. That's going to have cost us. Odra are now up to second. We're top. 9 games, 7 wins, a draw, and now that black mark against our name against GKS Tichy, which brings them up to 8th. They are the team that we have to beat before we move on from Poland. Thanks for watching. Your views really are appreciated. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel as well, and we will see you for our next fixtures.